Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. My most recent little talk to you made the case for the seemingly indefensible sadness. Well, here I turn to anger. It's easy to make a case for anger's opposite, that is, calmness. For example, calmness militates against rash decisions and overreacting violence. People tend to like you more if you're calm. Calmness is physically healthier. Angry type A's tend to get more heart attacks. Buddhism, the currently hot spiritual tradition, venerates calmness. Less often made is the case for anger, not for unbridled anger, but as Aristotle urges, quote, with the right person and to the right degree and at the right time and for the right purpose and in the right way, end quote. Well, here are upsides of anger. Anger can fuel action. Maybe the most obvious defense of anger is that it can fuel action, for example, the drive to achieve the difficult. To take a current example, to try to nullify or to further President Trump's initiatives. Another example, fury at someone saying that you're not smart enough to succeed at a career or a task. That can fuel you to prove him or her wrong. Anger can drive small yet still desirable actions. For example, I went to a Pete's store recently to buy a half-pound of coffee beans. The clerk poured some onto the scale, and the scale read 0.53 pounds. She carefully removed a few beans until it was 0.50 pounds. It's a small thing, but that struck me as inordinately cheap. You see, Pete's is owned by a conglomerate that owns brands such as Bally and Jimmy Choo shoes. Pete's charges $18.95 a pound for a pound of coffee, while the commodity price for it is $1.10. And in the quantities that Pete's buys, it's probably cost them under $1. So the 3/100ths of a pound cost that corporation 3 cents, minus the labor cost of the clerks reducing the amount of coffee on the scale. So it's probably a 2-cent before tax saving. It also struck me that everyone feels good about getting a little extra. So for the 2 cents that an occasional customer might get, 2 cents of extra coffee, the customer satisfaction and, in turn, loyalty is improved at trivial cost to Pete's. When I asked the clerk about it, she said, I would get in trouble if I didn't make it 0.50. Well, that just made me just angry enough to email Pete's customer service department. Who knows whether Pete's will change its policy? Probably not. But the anger made me feel more efficacious, feeling I'm not just an ineffectual pawn. Getting angry with yourself can motivate action too. For example, sometimes a substance abuser will stop only when they get really angry with themselves. Less dramatic, recognizing that being angry with yourself can be a cover for fear. Exploring that can yield enduring resolution of that fear. Anger can increase your influence on others. Too frequent expression of anger loses its effectiveness. For example, misbehaving students soon become inured to, even incited by a teacher who yells a lot. But if anger is expressed rarely, it can encourage change. For example, with one of my clients, where I think the client would benefit, I'll occasionally express anger. For example, if the client persistently blames his or her sloth on externalities. My expressing anger usually results in the client's improvement. Indeed, appreciation for my candor. In negotiation, a useful tactic is to realize that getting angry once, maybe twice in the negotiation, can move the other person to feel he or she is wrong, or at least is wise to give in. But as with the yelling teacher, expressing anger too often will likely hurt more than it helps. Anger can reduce the risk of being taken for granted. While often it's wise to roll with the punches, if you do that too often, you can be taken for granted and be subject to more unfair treatment. Expressing anger after even the first significant mistreatment can reduce the likelihood of getting mistreated again. But that can be difficult because some people are going to write you off or even fire you as being quote-unquote difficult. Another plus for anger is that it might add color to a life. Anger adds color to an otherwise bland life. Many people are emotionally flat, and anger can help them rise above their beige existence. Of course, I'm not talking about beating up a person. There are innocuous outlets for anger. For example, the sports fan who yells at the TV, "Ump, you're blind!" Or video game players that get angry at themselves for their bonehead move. Anger can enliven conversation. Anger indeed can animate a conversation. Imagine that you're at a party and two groups are discussing the same thing, say capitalism or media bias, or since I'm writing this for Psychology Today, the pros and cons of long-term psychotherapy. And imagine that in one group, everyone states their position calmly, no emotion. In the other group, one or two people express their views passionately, with anger. Mightn't you find the latter group more interesting? As usual, extremes are tough to defend. That's especially true with anger. Living angrily is an unpleasant and unhealthy way to live. But, as with most personality characteristics, even ostensible negatives have upsides. It's in that spirit that I'm sharing these ideas with you. That is to encourage tolerance of our and others' moderate deviations from the mean. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up, accept your thumbs down. Look forward to your comments, and always love it if you hit the share button below and share on your social media so that my efforts have more impact. And I'm flattered if you subscribe to my channel. And in any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.